There are a lot of brands who let their trademarks die. And someone actually made it their thing to like go and find old trademarks and re-register them.
That's a business model.
But here's the little slippery slope now. Remember, there's still state trademarks and common law. Just because your federal common law lapsed doesn't mean you may not still have common law rights. Right? So I always call them, when people see a dead trademark in a USPTO, they're like, but it's dead. I'm like, it's a zombie, honey. It's a zombie. Because you don't know if it's dead. It's dead in the USPTO, but they still even have a time frame where they can re-register it. They still have things that they can do. So please don't ever be fooled by a dead one.
Gotcha.
Okay, because it's not always dead.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not always dead. So let's just make sure we recap, because you have me going down several rabbit holes, David, that almost got us arrested. Okay. One, David now has verified he owns his brand.
Yes.
2, he's registered it and now he has a chain for it.
Yes.
3, he has the social media. He has the website.
Yes.
Right. And now he's doing the monitoring, and he's hired me and I'm doing the enforcement. We also do monitoring. Right. And then I think one other step is to look at the whole brand. Because again, your Sleep is for Suckers has expanded. And so another thing that happens is people will register things 10 years ago and go, okay, I'm registered. But now your business, let's say you registered in the beginning, all you offered were hair care products, which is a very common thing. Now you've expanded, you do facials and you offer bags, and now you have swag. These are all different classes. So trademarks are class specific. Right. And so we've had clients that registered years ago and they're like, okay, I need to now register. And they attempted to register on their own. And what happened is they ran into someone else's application that had registered in that class that they now sell products in. So now you own the brand in one class, but you don't own it in the other class.
Listen, coaches, consultants, course creators, the number one way to attract clients is through Facebook and Instagram ads, okay? Here's the thing. You don't have time to go through 100 videos, buy 100 courses, and try to figure this stuff out. My brother, Marquel Russell, put together the paid ad playbook. He gave me permission to give it to you for free, okay? In the paid ad playbook, first off, the paid ad playbook has generated over $500 million in client revenue. And all of these people are getting 50 to 100 leads every single day that actually convert. And it's not a book, it's just a checklist, all right? But it is the paid ad playbook, all right? But go to socialproofgift.com. Hurry up and get it for free. Socialproofgift.com or text proof to 904-447-5274. And there's going to be a bonus video in there that allows you to get a customized strategy for your own personal situation, all right? And that's just a bonus on top of a free gift. But go to socialproofgift.com or text proof to 904-447-5274. All right, let's get into the episode. Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, where we find dope people that did dope stuff. And now today is no other, okay? I only got my logo, like I got it on my chain now for this specific episode. I was like, you know what? I'm only getting it because this logo is protected and it's trademarked. To let people know it's trademarked, I had to get a pendant. And I'm introducing you all to my trademark attorney, okay? She is not in-house. You won't be in-house. You're on retainer.
I am on retainer.
She's on retainer. Where anything I need trademarked, she be getting that joint done. Man, Kendra Stephen, round of applause. And don't put an S on Stephen. It's Kendra Stephen.
Stephen. You know what? I used to be worried about people getting that spelling wrong, but after people learn how to spell Kardashian, I'm good.
Yeah, I heard that. Hey, listen, as long as they write the name on the check right.
Correctly. S-T-E-P-H-E-N. You got me over here like SEC. SEC, don't come for me.
So, Kendra, you are a trademark attorney.
You know what, David?
Are you?
I think brand protection attorney is the best word now.
Brand protection attorney.
Yeah. It's evolved because, you know, we don't just protect the brand. We do 360 brand protection that is trademarked as well. Okay. And what we do isn't just, let's protect. We look at how we can help you invest in the brand so that you can get a return on your brand, on all of the protection. Because, it's great to protect, but you also have to see a return. Brands that are protected, they get about 20% more revenue than brands that aren't.
What? What do you mean?
Yeah, it's been studied and it's been shown that the brands that are protected, that have trademarks, right, have 20% more revenue than the brands that don't.
Joe, you got something trademarked? Did you trademark anything?
We were actually just talking about my trademark. So I can still be trademarked, I just found out. We just got to fix a few things.
Really? Okay, so tell me about the situation with Joe, because we talked about this.
Yeah, Joe is brand hacking. David, I really don't want to talk about Joe's brand hacking, and only because he's still in the process, right? But what happened with Joe?
We had a whole episode about it.
I know.
It's already out there. So can we talk about this brand hacking? Because I never heard of brand hacking.
She's cool with it. She just lawyer.
Okay, so basically what Joe is going through is Joe really is committed and in love with the name that he's been using. And so what happened was when we did the search, specifically the class that he wants to use, he has a direct conflict. So with brand hacking,
what class was it?
25, which is for t-shirts, right, Joe? It was t-shirts.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so what happens when you're in that situation? What we have, what I call the game 6 fourth quarter mentality. You kind of know about it. When you speak to me, it's like we don't leave brands on the floor. We don't leave trademarks on the floor. We're like, how can we get this done?
Yeah.
Right. And so for Joe's situation, the option would be potentially for another class, which is e-commerce, because he had a store with it.
Okay.
Right. But Joe really, 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 really wants to own the actual t-shirts. So we have to look at his brand and compare it with the other brand to see if there are any loopholes that can apply. So sometimes it can be he used it first. So there's priority of use.
Yep.
Sometimes it can be as simple as, are they actually using it? If they're not using it, then we can file to cancel it.
Hold on. First thing you said was first to use, what's it called?
Yeah. So in the US, we still have common law rights. So how you get your trademark rights initially is by using it, right? But here's the thing, no one knows, right? And so that's why we stepped it up a notch, and we have state trademark registrations, and then we have federal trademark registrations. So the federal trademark that's holding his application up was registered before him, but we need to now see if he used it before that. This priority of use is important.
So if I use a brand, if I'm using a brand, let's say I'm using this logo, the Sleep is for Suckers logo.
Yeah.
I'm using it, but someone they use it after me and they trademark it. I can still go back and say, well, hold on. I was using it first, according to this date.
Yep.
I need my trademark back.
Yep. But it's not that simple, though. Don't get too excited. And I don't want y'all going out there and be like, I'm suing everybody. It is a proceeding. So it's litigation in the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Right. And that's a part of what we do. So that's why I make it clear to people, like, we don't just file applications. Like, we're not just out here filing applications. Like, we do have to go through litigation for some clients. And that's important because it happens quite often where you start using it and there's lots of things you've used. And that's a part of what we're going through with you right now, is going back and seeing what needs to be protected. You have a whole portfolio.
How many I got?
Right now, I think I saw on the list you had like 11. Like, including pending and what's registered. Like, David's got things going on. And a lot of clients are in your situation. They come to us where they have dibbled and dabbled in different things. They might have a trademark here, a trademark there. And we put it together in a portfolio. We call it the brand asset portfolio. What we're going through with you right now, where we're going, okay, David, you have this one, this one, this one. They might have different companies. Pieces of their brand is protected. Not all their brand is protected. Like, Sleep is for Suckers, where you started in the beginning, is not where you're at right now. So we're going back, or we'll notice certain things like your logo is protected, not the words are protected. Just little things like that. And some people might say that's not important. But for someone like me, if you came up against me, you're like, oh, I want to enforce Sleep is for Suckers. And we look and what you have, for example, we had someone reach out to us and he did take the brand and he was using it. But the person didn't register the words. All they had was the design. And they wrote him a letter and they're like, oh, stop using it. And of course, he came to us and he's like, hey, I know you know how to handle this. And of course, when we look through it, we're like, oh, They only have a registration on the design. You're good. Literally in their application, they have disclaimed and said, oh, we do not claim these words.
Why would they not claim the words?
Because it's a common used word. It's a common used phrase
claim the words
for what they want to do. So they were, I can't say exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's say they put Atlanta Tattoo. Mm-hmm. And they're an Atlanta tattoo shop. You can't register Atlanta Tattoo and you be an Atlanta tattoo shop because that's where you're located and that's what you do. That's registering apples for apples. You can't register that.
Gotcha. But if I was in Alabama and I said Atlanta Tattoo, I can register the name and the logo.
Yes. But here's the thing at that point, because you're a tattoo shop, again, you're going to have to disclaim tattoo because you can't own tattoo and be a tattoo shop. Just like I own a trademark on Lady Lawyer, right? But lawyer for the class that I'm in is for legal services, so I have to disclaim it. But on the other end, when I filed Lady Lawyer for t-shirts, I can claim Lady Lawyer.
Because it's a t-shirt company.
Exactly.
And you can't claim the name of the thing that you're doing, only the stuff around it. I get it.
He got it.
Yeah, I got it.
That was easy.
So okay. So if I'm using it, first off, let me show you something real quick. So, and I saw this, and if they're still there, it's some stuff we need to talk about. Okay. So I went to podcast this was like
another podcast.
A few months.
Is your name?
Yeah.
It's a common thing. Well, hold on a second, David. You jumping all into this right here. This is about I have so much pressure for this episode. Let me just tell y'all, Manny J has the #1 episode. And I told Manny, I'm coming for his spot. I'm coming. I mean, majority of my clients you've already interviewed in Atlanta too. You did Halani. You did him 500.
Oh, so you work with the big boys and girls, huh?
Yes.
Okay, I see that.
And then when you have a retainer, you're a big boy.
First off, we out here. This is serious. So look at this. Social proof, this podcast.
That's the problem. And I think it's time we send a cease and desist letter.
Let's send a cease and desist letter.
So what David did is an also important part, right? So just so you guys understand, when you're talking about brand protection, it's 10 steps that we recommend, but David's kind of touched on the first 5. 1, you got to make sure you own your brand.
Ooh,
right?
I want to send my first cease and desist letter.
2, David filed a trademark on his brand. And 3, you got to make sure you monitor it. You have to monitor your brand. So David's doing what he's supposed to do. He's monitoring his brand. And now he comes to his attorney and he's like, hey, look, I saw this.
I'm sending you this right now.
Yes, he is. And now he's doing enforcement. So you have to enforce your brand because here's the other thing. If you're not enforcing your brand, your competitors can start using your brand without your permission and you lose competitive advantage. At the end of the day, right, understand that trademark protection and brand protection is all giving you a competitive advantage, right? You are now the one in that space with that name. When I open up a Nike box, I'm getting my Jordans or my Nikes, right? I'm not getting Reebok. And if I did, we have a problem.
For sure.
David has on Gucci glasses. I like them. Very nice. By the way, when he opened it up, if they did not have Gucci frames in the box and they had Burberry's, there would be a problem. And this is why we're here, because when consumers purchase, they want to get that service or product that they paid for. You paid for a Beyonce concert and Beyonce showed up. It's going to be a problem. You're going to want your money back. You know, you ain't going to be drunk in love at that point. You're going to be drunk in a lawsuit.
Speaking of boxes, first off, we got this. Do you give all your clients this, or am I only retainer clients?
Retainer client. David wants the retainer client privilege.
Only retainer clients get this. Okay, so it's the brand protector box. And she brought it today. So this wasn't like planned. We came in here with it comes with the $1 billion brand ideas and more.
You have your notebook. So because David, let's be honest here, you are a walking machine with intellectual property just coming out every day.
Intellectuals.
You are. I'm not going to be surprised if you don't come up with $1 billion catchphrase.
We're going to talk about that. We need to talk about it because you asked me a question I had an answer to.
Oh, yes.
And you got the paper in there with the federal brand. You professional. And then, hold on.
Let me help you out.
Little suspense. Social proof.
Yes.
Is registered.
It's registered.
But we got social proof podcast too, right?
Yes, you have that coming. That's in the works. So David, like I said, we're going through the portfolio, putting it together for you because you got some stuff out there.
I got that stuff.
Oh, David, get that sheet that said what you can protect next. Because I think that's important. So then also with the protection, I think a lot of people think about this side of legal law standing on its own, but it's actually incorporated in a lot of your marketing and branding, right? So a lot of the things that you do add to your customer experience. Like, for example, you have a show, then you have in-person events, then you have workshops. All of these pieces are a part of your brand or part of your business, right? We don't like stand alone from you. It's all incorporated. Your courses that you come out with, your t-shirts are all a part of that customer experience, right? Yeah. So really what you're protecting is that.
That's a fact.
Your essence of the sham.
So, so it says online presence and it says social media handles. Mm-hmm. Can you trademark that?
Of course. That's a part of your brand.
Hold on. So if somebody has on TikTok, Social Proof Podcast, somebody has it.
Okay.
Can I get it?
Ooh, that's a good one. So let's talk about social media handles.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. That is a part of the steps, unlocking it down. That's a first come, first serve area.
Okay.
Unless, hold on, Joe, don't worry. There's unless they're doing it in a way to defraud the public, right? So that brings us to the Chanel situation. Have you ever gone to Chanel on Instagram?
No.
Okay, it's not Coco. It's our homegirl Chanel in Canada. She was able to get that handle first, and Coco Chanel has been fought her to get it, and they were like, no. She signed up first, and she's not pretending to be Coco Chanel. She's
if just they're Chanel. Pretending to be me.
Oh, now that's different. So that's different because especially if they're using the brand name and they are putting it in a way that's going to be infringing. But here's the other issue. The social media platforms have their own policy. So we had a case where Instagram was like, hey, you know what? We know that your client owns it, but they set up this page before your client got her certificate. So we're not taking it down. That's not how the law is applied. But Facebook has its own law. So then we have to go to court to get a court order to get the page down. So it all depends on the social network.
Did y'all go that far?
Yeah. Our client wanted her thing down. What's the issue?
So hold on. So you went through...
an injunction. We got an injunction to get the page down.
An injunction. Tell Joe what injunction is because he's...
That's basically you stop someone from doing something, but you get the court to say they have to stop it.
Gotcha. So you got it, Joe? It means when you go to the court, you get an injunction and you got to stop it.
Yes.
So okay, so you went through that and you had Facebook in court. Did Mark show up? Mark ain't show up.
No, okay. I wish. So basically, it's not Facebook who you sue, though. You do sue the owner of the page and they have to, and they didn't respond. They were like, okay. And then we got the injunction and we come down. I mean,
did they have to give the page back or they just had to take down?
No, they just took it down. They just took it down. That's all we needed was down.
But can she get it? Can she get it though? Your client?
Well, she didn't want it, but I'm sure she requested it. But Facebook, so you got to remember, Facebook makes money by accumulating a lot of content, a lot of pages. So it's not in their interest to take the page down.
For sure.
They're like, what you mean? We got another page to display our advertising.
Gotcha.
Right? So they're not going to jump to do it. I mean, in a perfect world, Facebook should honor that, but they don't because it doesn't benefit them.
They're their own country.
Yeah. So you just take them to court. I mean, another way to get a fake page down that we normally do is using a bit of copyright and obviously trademark law.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
A combination. So that's why it's no longer just trademarks. It's brand protection because it's all those things. Yeah, you're branding all those things. Even like your customer list. You have a nice email list. I'm just saying, anyone working for David, a very nice list. And that's something that you have to protect because that's important to your brand, right? So how do you protect that? Do you know?
Protect a customer list. Listen, if I was going to teach you how to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Like if I had a course teach you how to make $1 million a year positive, you're going to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Of course you would. It's no brainer, right? So in a calendar year, we make 7 figures with the podcast. But there's 21 things that I extracted from that you're going to need to launch your podcast. But I only got time to give you 3 right now. One is you need a distribution platform. The distribution platform is what you upload your podcast to. That platform sends it to Spotify, Apple, Google Play, so that your supporters can actually listen to your podcast. You're also going to need a microphone. You need a really good microphone so it's crispy audio. And 3, you need an income strategy. This is not necessarily a hobby, unless you're going to make it a hobby, but I can teach you how I made the 7 figures with these 21 things. Now, the good news is you don't have to give me 10,000. My ebook is only $37, okay? So listen, go to podcastebook.com and get the 21 things that you need. And I can explain it in detail, all the things that you need, okay? Podcastebook.com. Let's get to the episode. How would you protect a list other than not give it to nobody?
Yeah, but you have people that work for you that have access to it.
True.
So inside the agreements would be non-compete.
So that's you put the agreement together with your internal team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need agreement too because Jovan records the podcast
and copyrights. Mm-hmm.
Jovan technically
has some copyrights, but we got you on that. We talked about that. We talked about the need to. So I know when you have people work for you, you work for me for hire. But if you're in the situation where you've already had them do it, then you just have them transfer over to intellectual property rights.
And what does that verbiage say?
Oh, David. It's pretty much a simple agreement of saying like, hey, I created this content and now I am waiving and transferring all my rights over to David Chance. That's it. Or the company.
Joe, she's going to send it to you. You going to send it to him?
Yes, Joe.
So as of right now, how much of the podcast do I own?
Yeah, he records every podcast. He's the one that hits record.
Oh my goodness. Technically, right? Mm-hmm. We understand that there's an agreement that it's work being made for hire. If you had an attorney.
We don't have any written.
Nothing written.
We don't have anything written.
Oh, well then technically, yes, David, he has some copyrights.
What does that mean? Tell me what that means.
He has the right to control like where it gets reproduced, right? The copyrights are the right to copy. It's really a simple term, actually, when people think about it.
The right to copy.
The right to copy.
Oh, crap. Do you ever look at it like that? The right to copy. It seems like a big fancy word, legal term.
It's the right to copy. So, but it covers different things. So it's your content, right? So social proof is the brand.
Yes.
And the content is what we protect under copyright, which are the audio, the video, the photos. Anything you write, blog postings, things like that. That's what you're protecting under copyright.
Yes. If Joe is a savage, what can he do?
He would stop you from being able to post it or being able to distribute it.
Because he recorded it.
Yes.
So I can take the episode and sell it to a network.
Mm-hmm. Technically, yes.
I would fight you, Joe.
But I mean, there are other things that we can do in your favor, but I'm not going to release all of the steps, David. You got to say something for yourself, my love.
Oh, so okay. So just in case somebody tries to do it, you got some tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah,
to say,
well, always. What's part of that game 6, fourth quarter? Nothing. Oh, nothing. We leave nothing on the floor. We are coming and we pull out all the tricks. Like I tell people all the time, like there are times where people get their trademark application. This is how I actually got started. There was an attorney that I was working for and he was doing the applications and we would do applications for him. And then there would be times there were really tough applications and he would be like, no, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, there's
what makes a tough application?
That's a good one. Where you already know that there's a potential for litigation, right? So when you see someone already using the name or when it's a very similar name or they're in a similar class or like things like that. Enough that an examiner will reject the application because the examiner is another attorney.
So that attorney you're working for, he just wants like clear
He didn't want, he was just like, if it's not a clear yes, then no, right? And I've always loved puzzles. And to me, I'm like, no, there's a way we can do it this way. And he's like, no. So he said, fine. Eventually he's like, take it. Go ahead. You work with them. And so I got into the space of, researching the examiners, reading up, looking for the little tricks because they're human beings too. They make mistakes.
Do you have a water over there?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. So I would take the time to like go through the applications and then I loved it. I really, really loved it. And I enjoyed working for him. But the truth is, and I realized, putting his name as the attorney of record, and I'm not building up my portfolio. Yeah. So I took that time and I was like, all right, great. Now I'm on my own. And I still am into taking on those tough applications where a lot of attorneys like, no, I don't want it, because there's so many different ways to get it done. For example, looking at the examiner, they have patterns on how they work. So we use a tool. We have a platform in the office where we'll look through that examiner's history. We can look and say, oh, well, this is what she likes to see. This is why she rejected it. Or in some case, if you hired another attorney, like which we end up getting applications, they might have submitted something wrong, right? Or the examiner, for example, on one, she was like, no, I'm not going to register this because your client owns this product out here. And we're like, we looked at it. And at first I was like, ooh, she got us. And then I looked further. I'm like, that's not our client product. Sis, you're on the wrong Amazon page. That's not it. And then we were able to push it through.
Oh, wow. Right. So it's just humans over there, and they're deciding, I mean, based on, I'm sure, some sort of like foundational,
they have structure. Rules that they follow, right? But then they have lately, examiners don't just stick to what you put on your application, what we call the four corners of the document, right? They're now going out and they go to your website. Now they see what you're doing online. And so they'll reject it, even though you're not applying for that. So that's why it's important to do the brand hacking, because we could be applying for t-shirts and then they'll be like, yeah, but a brand with a similar name sells makeup. And that's a conflict because other makeup companies sell t-shirts. You're like, but I have no intentions to sell makeup. Like, what are you talking about?
Gotcha.
Right. And so these are the difficult cases that we take on. Or when it's someone might own a trademark in the state world, right? Because they're state trademarks.
Right.
And then they're federal trademarks. And our client's like, well, I own the state trademark. How did they get the federal? And so now we got to go back and get their trademark. Or the famous one I like to call is the common law wives, which is what most people are. A common law trademark owner, right?
Common law what?
A wife.
Okay, common law wife.
They haven't made it official.
Right.
But they're walking around, they're like, this is my brand, right? And so we call them common law wives because they're not registered, but they have rights. Like common law wives, right?
Oh.
And so...
Hold on, Ariel, is your podcast trademarked? Get some business about yourself.
I love it. Yes, we do work with entertainers, entrepreneurs, professional athletes, and creators. So definitely the podcast can be protected. Sure. So we look at all these things because it's not just federal trademarks that are the issue. It's state trademarks. It's common. So a lot of people go out and they're like DIY, right? Because they're like, I can go Google this. And which is fine, DIY, but understand that if you don't have a proper search done, that common law wife is going to pop up at your wedding. And she's going to say, hey, what are you doing? This is my brand, right? And there's a problem. So a lot of times you'll see people go all the way. Sometimes they'll get a certificate and then it gets canceled. And there are attorneys that will cancel it. I will cancel it, right? But legitimately because you don't have that right, right? And that is the first step. Always make sure you own what you are registering.
Gotcha.
You have to own it.
Okay. I had a bunch of questions.
The $400 million catchphrase, you still don't have it?
Yes. No. Okay. So what is the $400 million catchphrase? Is it cease and desist?
No. This catchphrase, let me give you guys some more tea. This catchphrase was registered in 1992. It makes the owner more money now than they did in the actual job that they were doing to create it. Nope. The catchphrase is, let's get ready to rumble. $400 million he has made on that phrase alone.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. Let's get ready to rumble. The owner of that catchphrase have made $400 million?
Yes.
How? I don't understand.
Licensing. He owns the trademark on it and he licensed it out. All the time you see it in movies and things like that. He owns that.
So they have to pay to
They have to pay him.
I'm bugging. Oh my gosh.
I try to be cute. And then you over here, you just go and do it. What are we doing here, Dave?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Can we edit that out, Joe? Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. All right. So, okay, let me ask you this. How can you just register with some words? How can you protect someone from saying something a certain way?
Why are you over here like, David, you can protect hashtags. You can protect your brand all the way down to your hashtags. Yes. Here's what you have to remember. These are all elements, assets of the brand.
What?
Yeah, hashtags are protectable.
So if I did like the hashtag Dorito Dave or whatever, because like now when somebody searches, they'll see a whole bunch of other stuff. I can give them a cease and desist and have them take the hashtag off of that post.
Do you want to?
Yes.
Okay. You heard the man, people. Take down Dorito Dave.
And Social Proof. And Social Proof Podcast.
Oh. I didn't know you were coming out this
Why? What? You are a retainer. I want every dollar worth.
David said he does use his retainer money, y'all. He does. Before David was on retainer, I heard from him every other month. Now David on retainer every day. Okay?
That's the ill part of having an attorney on retainer. Because when I think of something, I'm like, yo, let's just...
Right away.
Yeah,
but see, now you understand that, right? Before you're like, I don't need an attorney on retainer. Now you're like, everything that comes out, every contract, everything, you're like, do it. But that is the confidence that it adds to you. Like I tell people all the time, it's not even what you think it is. It's the confidence that it adds to your business, that knowing that you have that. But that's how they get that 20% additional in revenue, right? Because they have that confidence to invest more time and money in their brand. Once they know it's protected. A lot of people are sitting around going, oh, I don't want my brand stolen. I don't want my brand stolen. Can I just tell you something, David? You want them to steal your brand.
So I kind of want somebody.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You think Nike is sitting around going, I hope no one don't make no fake Nikes.
I pray somebody.
No. Yes, because it's going to happen. When you are the leader in the market, when you are innovator, you are going to have that happen to you, right? But there's a big difference. This is why your customer experience is so important. Because there's a difference between when I ride in a Mercedes and when I ride in a Honda. We on the same road, but it feels different and you know it.
Yeah.
Right? Sure. You know
100%.
it. That's the difference, right? So although there might be imitators out there and they may be people copying, that's why you have these protections in place. Because your brand experience, your customer experience is going to be different. And then you have that enforcement to back it up. So at some point or another, someone's going to notice, oh, you rubbing your Gucci, the glasses are the logo is coming off. Things are a bit funny. The quality is not the same. You question that, right? Yeah. And you know when you didn't get the authentic thing. And then you have, there's Border Patrol that you can enforce your rights at the border.
Gotcha.
Right? To stop counterfeit. But you're more in the service-based creation, content space.
Oh, fam. So this is a question that I have. Let's say I had a logo. Okay, it's a hypothetical situation. Let's say there was a logo that was created 10 years ago. That, let's say Joe's been using it for the last 10 years.
Okay.
I don't know where, you can see that? Nice, Joe. Let's say Joe doesn't know where the original creator of the logo is, but he trademarks the logo. Trademarked it a while ago.
He doesn't know who created it?
He doesn't. Maybe he knows, but he doesn't know where that person is.
Can I tell you that would be a case where you would definitely want your lawyer to do their best to find that person, especially if you don't want that person to come back and claim rights. But can I just say, it's not a common thing to happen, right?
Okay, all right. So this actually happened to me. So this logo, okay? This logo. So one of my homegirls, Yvette. A super talented person. Like when I was first building it, she was she created the logo.
Okay.
Right? And I paid her.
Okay.
For the logo. I'm sure she would agree on that. And we did a whole bunch of stuff. And then I think she kind of went a different direction with the work that she was doing and wanted to get into a different. She's just super talented.
Where is she?
I don't know.
You tried to find her?
No.
I mean, so there's another thing that we can do is skip tracing, right? So
I thought it was just in real estate.
What's that? We do it in legal too, because sometimes we have to serve people. You got to be able to find them. So sometimes we can be able to look through records and find them.
Let me see if she's on my Facebook real quick.
Okay.
Because I just haven't looked. And this is
you are really worried about her coming for you in this logo.
I'm trying to remember this last.
David, that's something that we're going to have to find her if it,
because no matter how long, even if I paid 10 years ago.
Yes, we do need to find her. We can find her.
We can find her.
Yeah. A lot of what we do requires prayer, patience, and positivity.
I'm about to search email. Oh, I found it.
See?
I found an email and she had mad stuff.
You like that one?
So what happens if, okay, yeah, she did mad. I just literally searched her name and stuff from 2012, 2011. Is she
active, David?
I don't know.
Okay, David, send me her link and we'll get the documents so we can get you taken care of.
That's crazy. She did. Yo, look at this, Joe. Come here real quick, Joe. Look at this. Oh, I don't know that. Maybe that's not there.
Oh, my goodness.
So that design that he's wearing right now, she made that joint. I think she made that No Days Off joint. The design that you're wearing today. This 2011. 2011. All right, so what would I have to do?
So we would send her a release document, which is basically her signing over the intellectual property rights.
Here's my thing, though.
Oh, Lord, David.
If I'm sending that now, you don't think she'd be like, hold up.
So that's when you finesse.
Is it up? Hold on. Can I get it going out?
No, you have conversations like, hey, I'm officially still using it and I want to make sure everything's all taken care of. And most of my clients just blame it on the legal department.
From a personal standpoint, you think I should just call?
Yes.
I think I should just hit her up?
Yes. You shouldn't have me go over first. Like, the first thing she shouldn't receive is a note from me. She should have a conversation with you. Especially since you called her out by name, mentioned her several times, and now people are going to search your page to find her. I
don't think they'll find her. Because she never really been like a big social media person. Super talented person, though.
Well, David, you've now made it clear that you need to talk to her. Don't be David in this situation, okay?
I know, I gotta filter what I say sometimes. This is crazy. But she's super talented. All right, so I'm going to reach out. I wonder if she still got the same email address.
You see this? He's still contemplating this. Guys, do not be David. We are saying right now, David, just send the email or a DM and then we'll clean it up on the back end. You see how your lawyer is sitting here like guiding you not to do it?
I do feel more comfortable now.
He's just doing it.
He's
just like, let me give Kendra extra work.
I'm going to leave this alone. But yeah, she for sure made this joint.
Yay.
Right. Okay.
Now that you've now given me more work on air to do before it airs. Thank you. We'll get it taken care of before it airs.
Let's go. Okay. All right.
So we own the brand. We register a trademark.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Last question about this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind, because I'm going to say it then.
I'm trying to keep him out. See how when your lawyer is trying to keep you out and you want to keep...
Shut your mouth, David.
Just stop talking.
Right.
See, you be the type of guy, y'all in court, and she's trying to get you off for something.
Right, but I'm like, no. Yep. No, she made the joint, but you're like, yo,
through the whole case.
Shut up.
But you guys see how I'm finessing him out of it, but he still keep trying to take us back
just
there.
My curiosity
it's because he is very
very.
Okay, let's talk about Joe's brand.
Don't do that to Joe.
No. This is good. This is a good question.
Okay.
But he took the Living Single, like the Living Single logo, right? And it's called Living Blessed. Right. It's a logo flip, right? So, can he trademark it?
So what he would have is called a design mark. So that's an issue. So right now, Publix and a pharmacy company are having issues because they took the Publix P and used it for their pharmacy P, and they drew the line down further, and it looks very similar to the Publix logo. So no, you don't want to play around with other people's logo designs. Now, does Living Single have a trademark on it? We don't know. Do they have a copyright on it? Who knows?
They probably
Maybe you don't know. You'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah. Because back in the day, brands weren't as on it like they are now. Like, Baby Shark. They registered a trademark for Mommy Shark, Daddy Shark, Grandma Shark, Sister Shark, Shark. They weren't playing, right? But back in the day, Living Single is a long, long time ago. So, and then it might not even be active. So sometimes brands, which is an actual thing. It might not be
apparel.
It might not be apparel, but sometimes but again, remember, it doesn't have to be the same class, right? It has to be something that will cause confusion, right? So remember back in the day, I was actually going to say there are a lot of brands who let their trademarks die. And someone actually made it their thing to like go and find old trademarks and re-register them.
That's a business model.
But here's the little slippery slope now. Remember, there's still state trademarks and common law. Just because your federal common law lapsed doesn't mean you may not still have common law rights. Right? So I always call them, when people see a dead trademark in a USPTO, they're like, but it's dead. I'm like, it's a zombie, honey. It's a zombie. Because you don't know if it's dead. It's dead in the USPTO, but they still even have a time frame where they can re-register it. They still have things that they can do. So please don't ever be fooled by a dead one.
Gotcha.
Okay, because it's not always dead.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not always dead. So let's just make sure we recap, because you have me going down several rabbit holes, David, that almost got us arrested. Okay. One, David now has verified he owns his brand.
Yes.
2, he's registered it and now he has a chain for it.
Yes.
3, he has the social media. He has the website.
Yes.
Right. And now he's doing the monitoring, and he's hired me and I'm doing the enforcement. We also do monitoring. Right. And then I think one other step is to look at the whole brand. Because again, your Sleep is for Suckers has expanded. And so another thing that happens is people will register things 10 years ago and go, okay, I'm registered. But now your business, let's say you registered in the beginning, all you offered were hair care products, which is a very common thing. Now you've expanded, you do facials and you offer bags, and now you have swag. These are all different classes. So trademarks are class specific. Right. And so we've had clients that registered years ago and they're like, okay, I need to now register. And they attempted to register on their own. And what happened is they ran into someone else's application that had registered in that class that they now sell products in. So now you own the brand in one class, but you don't own it in the other class.
Gotcha.
So this is why it's so important that you spend the time putting that strategy behind it. And we spend a lot of time thinking about the future of your brand. We get on the calls and you're like, Kendra, what class? That class? I'm not there yet. And I'm like, David, if you understand like the brand that you're building you have a media brand, then these are all the different places you're going to end up. And so we need to start moving in that direction to make sure you're protected, because 10 years from now, who knows who's registered in that space?
Yeah.
So that's also one of the things that we do, right?
Gotcha.
Because we're thinking, again, you're building a portfolio and the portfolio isn't, oh, I'm just going to think about it when I want it. It's like future thinking, your future portfolio at that.
Gotcha.
I want to invite you to pick my brain.
Mine too. Mine too.
Yours too?
Mine too.
Yours too.
I can
Okay,
pick
you
my
guys.
brain.
We are so excited because we just dropped our newest podcast series called the Brain Picker Podcast. David.
Oh, it's going down. You get to pick our brain. You have a business idea, a concept. You're stuck. You can't get off the ground. You need the advice of seasoned, experienced entrepreneurs. Not only entrepreneurs that are practitioners, but we got a lot of people that we've been coaching all over the last decade.
All over the globe.
That got receipts.
Not just that, you never know where your next investor might be hanging out. And the word on the street is we got all the connections.
That's a big fact.
We got all the connections. So if you want to sit down with us and pick our brains.
In front of our audience.
And we're letting you pick our brains. We won't even talk bad about you for doing it in front of our audience, bringing your business maximum exposure. Find the link somewhere around here, wherever you see it.
It's there.
And apply.
Right now.
To pick our brain.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
With the whole Let's Get Ready to Rumble thing, right? Where they trademarked it. If they use that, but it's not the words, it's the way they use it in a movie, let's say.
That's still his words.
But you can't say, let's say, for instance, there's a scene, a school fight after school. And one of the characters say, let's get ready to rumble.
He gets paid.
He gets paid.
He gets paid.
Okay, what about Nike with Just Do It? If there's a movie.
Remember, it's class, right? So if Nike took the time to register it for that class, then yes. So that's another way of expanding your protection, right? So let's get ready to rumble. Just like Nike is expanding through other classes, right? Now they have NFTs, like they're registering for NFTs. They're registering for the metaverse. They are registering for virtual products, right? I hope you're already starting to think about that. We'll have conversations
Not so
about
right
that
now.
later.
This is the first time I actually thought about that.
Well, because then think about it. When you think about the metaverse, it adds another level to your customer experience. Mm. And there's a whole nother set of classes to that. Now you're thinking, okay, again, trademarks, I call this the petty area.
Hold on, real quick. Is metaverse its own thing or that's Facebook?
I believe that's Facebook.
Change the name to metaverse.
Right, but
metaverse is the actual place. But
metaverse is a place.
Yeah, and then they're meta, and then they have metaverse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. No, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
they're meta, and then they own metaverse is their own virtual space.
Dang. All right. Well, okay.
So Shan's first.
Let's get a trademark. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
So, in creating this virtual experience, but it still goes back to the platforms of what you're doing in your brand.
Hold on, real quick. Are classes being created like on a regular basis? Like now,
there are some classes that they're doing specifically for it based upon the description.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
All right,
so they'll put, but what you are thinking of, and you should be thinking of, is again, this is all back to the customer experience. What are they going to smell when they enter your virtual space? Smell is something that can be protected by trademark law. You ever go into a Verizon store? They have a specific smell. I mean, I don't personally have a Verizon store. I don't use Verizon, but I have been in their stores and I did realize it has a signature smell. They register that, David.
Dang.
You can have a Shan signature smell.
Dang. Yeah, that's the ill part of like registering your brilliance. The stuff that we come up with in our head.
Of course.
We need to, us, average entrepreneurs or whatever, we really don't look at it as, that serious. We just do stuff.
I know. And that's the scary part because what you create, you should protect. For me, right, I look at it as brands can outlive people, right? What you create can outlive you, right? And so with that understanding, I'm thinking of, I'm working, no offense, David. Yeah, I work for you, but I'm thinking about your great, 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 great grandkids that are going to receive those checks. That's what I'm thinking about. When we're building out this portfolio, I'm like, what else can we put in here that he can license or sell in the future that they're going to make money from? Because, I love Disney, but Disney isn't making all those things you see Mickey Mouse on. And you see Mickey Mouse everywhere.
For sure. Absolutely.
Right? And that is a part of their portfolio. Licensing it. Right? So let's get ready to rumble. He's licensed it for movies, for products, for TV shows. Like he just licensed it out and they pay him. They actually even pay him sometimes to do the actual phrase himself. Right? So your catchphrase.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to send me that catchphrase you want to register.
Social proof. I don't want people to use social proof for nothing. No movies, no name of a movie, no name of an album, nothing.
Not even the album? You don't want me to use it for K500?
No, what I'm saying, what's that?
My album.
What? Okay.
Ken just got a rap album.
Right, yeah, for sure.
You didn't even pick up when I said 500, David. You just left that there.
K500, what's that?
Him 500, K500.
Oh, register me Dave 500 too. Anyway, no, but here's the thing. I want to be able to say nobody use, like if somebody mentions the word social proof in a movie, I need my bread.
So you got to look at your classes. Right? Trademarks are, remember, it's about the classes. So you register in specific classes.
Can we get movies and music?
And you got to use it,
though. Okay. So.
Don't miss that part.
Yeah, that went over my head. Explain it.
Okay. So you have to use it. Trademarks require you to use it. So if, let's say, for example, you want to register social proof and it's class 41 is entertainment, right? So you would do something in the entertainment space for that. Maybe
do an album.
Podcasts. No, podcast isn't 41. Or you can do a music album, but it doesn't have to be the exact same thing to cause confusion. Remember, it has to be close enough. So 41, if you're already in there, which I believe you already are for podcasts, then if they do a movie, then that's close enough to cause an issue.
So if someone says the word social proof in a movie.
Oh, God, David.
If they're like one scene, I'm just trying to be clear.
But remember, Let's Get Ready to Rumble is usually done in a fight scene.
Yes.
That's indicating that we're going to fight. And that's how it's used for that brand.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So if someone in the movie has a social proof podcast, or they're creating a t-shirt brand, they're putting social proof for Sleep is for Suckers. Yes. But you have to remember, so before I send out the letter, David, I will do the research, right? Okay. I know you're about to send everybody a social proof cease and desist letter. I mean, everybody.
Hey, Ariel, did you ever say the name social proof in your podcast?
She's registering domains as we speak. That's another thing that you have to do, is lock down your domains, right? Because that's important. It's connected to your brand.
For sure.
Like if you ever went to like Nike, they own everything you can think of with Just Do It. And then there's Apple, like they register even the product names, like iPhone, iPad, they register it all.
Okay.
So that's important.
Give me a scenario that a client came to you and you just couldn't help them.
That doesn't exist.
Really?
David, what part of...
You've never been in such a tough situation where you couldn't... There's nothing... It was out of your hands.
No.
You to go.
I don't... So, I think a lot of people...
You're the Olivia Pope of trademarks. That's what you telling me?
I'm the Olivia Pope of trademarks. But it's more than that. It's about their entire brand.
The brand
so I look at every single thing. This is my jam.
Can you give me one of your hardest fights? And like, we got it done. I know they're all... I know I'm a fight.
This is a good one. Can I think for a moment?
Yeah, absolutely.
The hardest fight that I didn't think we were going to get done.
Yeah, like it was a mountain they brought to you. And you're like,
David, I'm 5'5" with heels on. You know? So everything's kind of a mountain when you're down here. But let me see. David, I can't think of one. No, I do. I will say this. When we're looking at it, when we're listening, and I have to learn how to decipher what my client's saying and what's really happening in the paperwork, right? So sometimes it'll look like it's no way to get it done. And then we'll find a loophole. Like we're constantly looking for new loopholes.
Can you think of a loophole that you've like, I just want to like,
you want example. A good loophole.
A good loophole.
A juicy one that we found.
And I know you got a lot of clients.
Yes.
So I know it's all running in your head. If you could think of one, I just want to know like, what is one of those get overs? You know what I mean? Like,
oh, okay. Well, I mean, but we literally just got this approved.
That's exciting.
But, okay. So our client has a phrase that they want to use for a t-shirt, right? And the USPTO examiner rejected it. So we let it sit. Remember, prayer, patience, and positivity. That's how I move through all of these applications. So we let it sit. And we're like, all right, no problem. So we were monitoring what the other person was doing with the brand. Because my client, he played in the NFL and he's like, I want this. This is my thing. So we're like, all right. He's just like, keep monitoring it. And we actually waited. The other person's application, they ended up being an intent to use. Meaning,
what does that mean?
They didn't use it yet.
Okay.
But because they filed before our client, they had priority in application number. So what the USPTO does, even though our client had used it first, the USPTO said, hey, this person filed before you. You have to wait to see what their outcome is. So we had to wait to see what was going on with their application first. So we're waiting. Our application was suspended. So then when they didn't, it's an intent to use too, they get what's called a notice of allowance. I know you guys are like, what?
No,
so
they
get a notice of allowance, which means, you're allowed to use it, but they don't get a certificate. You have to use it in order to get the certificate. So we're waiting. They keep filing extensions because you can file extensions. And then finally, they do use it. And then we're like, okay, let's go ahead and file to cancel the registration because our client has priority of use. So we open up the proceeding and we're going in, we're getting ready to do this proceeding. And we get what's called a default judgment. So we're like, yay, we won. They went and hired an attorney. Default means they didn't respond back. So the court automatically ruled in our favor.
Oh,
so
gotcha,
it default in our favor. So we're excited, right? We're like, we got a default. But in the USPTO, they give you an additional 30 days after issuing a default for the person to respond back. So they waited on the 30th day at 11:58 p.m. at night. The attorney files a motion of they file a appearance for new counsel. And then when they did that, they filed to reopen the case. So we're like, great. So then we went ahead, we go all the way through. Up until it was time for us to do arguments. Mm-hmm. And what happened was their attorney dropped off the case. Well, this brand is in China. Mm-hmm. And since they're not U.S. citizens, they're required to have representation in the U.S. And when that attorney dropped off the case, they no longer had representation. And so we immediately filed and said, hey, they do not meet the requirements. They no longer have representation. And we were able to end it that way.
Dang. But you really got to be on it. So
all the time. We're on it all the time. There are there's another, so the USPTO is moving really slow, you know that. Yeah. So there's another strategy that we've come up with to help progress our clients' applications through faster. We'll go through that with you later. I don't want to. You can't talk about that right now? I don't want to talk about it right now because I think that's a really cool strategy. Oh, that's it's an amazing sauce.
Gotcha.
But I will say I've been seeing a lot more high profile celebrities use it.
Gotcha.
It's becoming a very important strategy for them because USPTO is moving so fast.
Cool.
Yeah. But there are ways. So we were able to get it done that way. Another client, they had their application rejected because the examiner was looking at the logo that was a logo that they no longer used. And the examiner was like, okay, well, your products and this logo don't match. And that was a rejection. And they just kept getting bounced back. And they retained us. And we were just like, hey, your logo doesn't match.
Right.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
Or we had a client that was trying to get on the Amazon registry, which is an important thing if you want that Amazon store. And they kept getting rejected from Amazon. And we looked at it and they're like, Kendra, what's wrong? We have this registered. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, you changed your logo. That's another thing to remember. When you change your logo and you have a trademark registered, guess what? You need a new trademark registration.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So even if you move one of those extra dollar signs or you added some more dollar signs that, you changing that logo.
Gotcha.
You got to get that re-registered.
Man. Yeah, I want to take a time to add for anybody that's in a situation or you got a question for Kendra. I just want to open it up. If you have a question, in that chair. Yeah, somebody would have to sit in that chair. Absolutely. Because I think this is. So that's the question and answer chair right there.
He didn't know.
Oh yeah, we switched it up, man. We upgraded. You know what I mean? Processes. Yeah. So sit down. So that absolutely. Cool. What you got?
So I came all the way from New York for this.
Really?
Yes.
Dang, that's crazy. I'm about to leave. I really gotta go home.
Where have you been, ma'am? I've been looking for somebody like you.
For me?
Well, not you, David. I know where to find you.
Oh, okay. Oh, for sure.
You were talking real spicy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, that trademark stuff is one of the reasons why I'm here. So
hold on. Is that your brand right there?
David, do not look at it. Yes, it is.
So the entrepreneur, the rapper.
I do.
Is that why you're here?
Yes.
Wait, what's going on?
Oh, you're the guy.
So my friend has a brand. It looks like that, right? It's like
I'm Neo's mentee.
You're Neo's mentee?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Are you suing Neo?
I'm the guy that came from New York. Yes.
You're suing him?
Yeah. I'm not. No, David.
He's not suing
I'm
Neo.
Neo's mentee. I came to the meetup yesterday to meet everyone.
He's not suing Neo. Let's get clear. Okay, you're okay.
Bro. No, he said this is the reason
Neo
I'm
has
here.
a lawsuit for that design. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, nothing like that. No.
I mean.
David, no.
Well, let me ask you this, though.
Okay,
all right, what's your question?
So I just wanted to get more sauce on protecting the brand. So it's that important, protecting the brand? Like, I really came here just to hear this.
I mean, so is it that important? That's a great question. Your brand is everything. you have to put something on your product. You have to put something on your service. You have to put something on your business card, right? Let's say you go, okay, Kendra, well, I want a no brand. Okay, well, they're going to identify you. They're going to say, oh, it's the brown bottle, or it's the white label, or it's the yellow text. That's all a part of your brand. Colors, fonts, text, like all those things are a part of it. So it's everything. And when people think about that, they're like, whoa, it's a part of everything I do for selling. Of course I need to protect it, right? Because let's say one of your competitors decide, okay, you're the brown bottle brand. Okay, we're going to hop into brown bottles too. How are they going to tell the difference? Right? It's all about protecting your competitive advantage. If you look at it that way, you understand like every part of my brand needs to be protected, right? Because all of those things add to what? Your bottom line. All of those things. I could have brought David's certificate by hand and just like, here's your certificate, right? By putting it in a box, by putting the tissue, like all of those things are important to his experience. And he was very happy. David actually danced.
Yeah, I danced.
He did a shimmy, you know?
Absolutely.
Right? So yes, it is very important because you don't want someone else using the same name and getting your customers or your services. And sometimes they might be bad experiences. Right? And like, for example, in Florida, where I live in South Florida, there's a restaurant called Toasted. And then there's a restaurant called Untoasted. You would think someone might say, maybe we shouldn't be called that. And we actually visited both of them. And while we were at Toasted, they were complaining because at least 5 Uber drivers came in and was like, oh, I'm here to pick up the order for Untoasted. And they're like, they're not even in the same city.
And that's happening every day, I'm sure.
Every day. And I'm like, how annoying is that? Yeah. And they're leaving bad, and they get their bad reviews because people are just like Toasted on Toasted is the same thing. Right? Yeah. So yes, that is why. If they had an attorney and I almost was like, I'm off today. This is just entertaining. But if they actually did pay attention to monitor it, they would stop that, right? Because that is an issue. Now their reputation is connected to the bad one and they're the good one and they're getting all this blowback. And it happens all the time. So yes, that is important because you have to be known in the marketplace in order for people to purchase from you, right?
I'm glad that was your question because I thought I was going to have to fight you. I'm fighting all.
I know. I saw that he was ready to tuck his chain in.
You see my friend, we're fighting.
He was ready to put the chain away. He was like, Kendra, hold the chain. I'm going to take this outside. He was ready.
I'm here for all the smoke.
Good question, man. Good question.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Next question. Let's do it. This is fun.
You like that one?
That was good.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I have a question about, I know a little bit about it, but I would like to expand on the TM and the R when it comes to branding and how important do you have to have that on your logo at all times? And what does that mean, the difference in the TM and the R?
Oh, that's a great question. So TM could mean, and it could mean a number of things. Right? It could either mean that they are a pending trademark application. They can mean that they're using it as a trademark, or it can mean they saw it on somebody else and they were like, oh, I need to put this too. What really, really, really carries power and weight is the R in a circle. Means registered, federally protected. When you get that R, you come over here, right? You put a ring on it. You good. When you don't have that R, you just out here. You're a common law wife.
So TM just looks cool.
TM looks cool. It means like sometimes people use it. Sometimes they didn't get it registered. They might be a state registration. But R registered is the only time it can only be me you're federally registered.
Is my joint registered?
Yes, David, you're good.
Now, what if you, now as far as like putting it on there, what's
you have a whole certificate. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What if somebody puts an R on something and it hasn't been registered?
I mean, there are lots of people that do that. It depends. If they run across the right attorney or whoever that's going to look at it and say, oh, it's not registered. A lot of people do that because they don't understand why it's there. They just think it's a design element, right? Because you see it on a lot of big brands. So you're like, oh, okay, I'm a brand now. Let me put an R in it, right? But no, it's actually there because it's registered.
Yeah, I think I did that one time. Like I had got the bank account. I said, oh, I'm going to throw my R on this so nobody use it. I got the domain. There's an R on that joint. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But if someone else searches it, then, it's an issue, right?
Good. So realistically, it's just a visual to make you seem like you're on point. even if you might not be. But if you do it, then obviously it holds some weight.
Definitely don't want you to use an R unless you're registered. Let's be absolutely clear here, right? You don't want to use R unless you register because someone can look that up. So when you're registered, everything you file with the USPTO is public, right? Everything. That's why we make it a point to make sure we go over certain things. So if you're not registered and you're claiming to be registered or your registration is inactive, people can see that, right? Some people literally wait around until things go dead and then they register it and then they make you spend money to try to get your stuff back. So that is why it's important that you don't use R's unless you're actually registered and you don't put certain things out there until you are actually to that point, right? Because people look through those things all the time. That's how I knew Kim Kardashian was coming out with certain things before she was coming out with it, because I saw her trademark registration applications.
Gotcha. Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right, one more. This is really, really good.
And
I gotta get off this podcast before I say something wrong.
Yes, please do. I wanted to add that, a lot of people forget that you're building a brand and you're building a business, right? Right? Your brand can actually outlive your business.
Sure.
Right? Look at AT&T. It went out of business and Bell South bought it.
AT&T went out of business?
Yes. Did you guys forget that? It was bought by Bell South. And Bell South rebranded everything. Remember Singular Wireless?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that now? AT&T.
AT&T.
They rebranded under it because it was a stronger brand. So you could be a really sucky business owner, but you can build an amazing brand and still make millions.
I like it. What you got, brother?
Yeah, that was really interesting. So I guess for me, my question is the new entrepreneur. Like when you have all these ideas, what advice would you give the person who has ideas for like T-shirts and production companies and et cetera? Because I know that trademarks can get a little pricey at times.
That is such a great question. So one of the things I think we do a lot of in the firm is, in addition to being legal counsel, we also spend a lot of time on planning and strategy for our clients and understanding that when are you going to bring certain things to market, right? Because even like you, I have a ton of them constantly, like coming up with new things, new phrases. I keep it in my book. And the weird thing about the universe is you're not the only person that came to, right? But understanding that with trademark law, if you're doing trademarks, you have to use it. We do have what's intend to use, which is, hey, I haven't used it yet, but I intend to use it in the future, that we can file. Yes, that can obviously increase your legal costs if every single thing you're filing intend to use. But it really all depends. That's when you sit down, you say, Kendra, we have like a brain dump session where you like, okay, these are all the things I want to do. And then we're like, okay, but which ones are you actually going to bring to market within the next 90 days, within the next year? And so then we can map out, you can lay out where you need to go as far as registrations, right? Because a lot of what you come up with may just be really cool catchphrases and things like that you can add to your portfolio, but you may not make it your main product. So you want to always start off with like your main product or your main service, protect your money, right? Sure. Protect your money. And then you could add on the different things you do around it.
Good. Makes a lot of sense. Kendra, this has been very, very helpful, very, very dangerous for me. And very insightful. You know what I mean?
But why?
Because
this is actually good. You have a really good portfolio.
I had another question I was going to ask you, and I was like, yo, that's going to get me in trouble.
Please stop. You have to.
At least I'm recognizing that.
Okay, but you have an amazing portfolio you're building, and I think that's key, right? A lot of it sounds scary in the beginning because a lot of it is not information that you know about. It's not what we normally talk about. A lot of people are like, let me just get an LLC. But getting your LLC can even get you sued, right? Your LLC or your corporation name is someone else's trademark can get you sued. Right? If someone else owns a trademark on that name and you use it, we actually had a client retain us for that. You can get sued. So running out there and just setting up a business without actually having a conversation with a brand protection attorney or a trademark lawyer is going to be important, can be detrimental to you. Because again, every single thing you do is connected to that brand that you're building.
I feel so comfortable. I feel secure.
You should.
I feel like I got like my big brother, my big sister. Like I could just walk around freely and do whatever I want. Because I'm like, yo, Kendra, they bothering me.
Slow down, brother. I still own a podcast.
But for clients like David, we do have local attorneys that handle local issues too, because we have a network of over 50 attorneys. And so we have one in every state. So we do have, like, if there's a local issue, a business matter that is local, we do bring them in, right? Yeah. Because that's important. But I don't think it's scary. I think when you're thinking about this, understanding that this
is scary if you don't have an attorney. Like somebody advising you.
Yes. DIY can go wrong. There's good, better, best, right? Good, you DIY it, I'll leave you there. Better, hire an attorney, right? Hire us, let us do it for you. Or, actually the best is hire an attorney, right? Sure. The better would be, okay, you consult with an attorney before you do it, right? And I tell people all the time, yes, I understand that you might think legal cost is expensive, but honestly, it's more expensive if you do it wrong. That's a fact. Rebranding is way more expensive than my monthly retainer, okay? Yeah, and you have your name on lots of things.
Yeah, so, I filed my first trademark myself.
Yeah.
And then I had to pay again because I did it wrong. And then I did it wrong again, and then I just hired an attorney. So it was just... I paid 3 times the amount I was supposed to pay just because I was just out here.
Yeah. But David, I wanted to get through more of the steps, but I think they're going to have to get the checklist because we didn't get a chance.
Okay, what's the check? Hold on. Before we get there, I got to do a commercial because I got to pay some bills. Goodness gracious. Joe, it's your fault, right? I didn't tell people to subscribe to the podcast.
Tell them now.
Whose fault is it?
Yours.
No, it's not, Joe. Remember we talked about it? You was going to remind me in the beginning. Is everybody subscribed to are you subscribed to my podcast? On your podcast? No. No. That's not the same. Go on your podcast app. You got the podcast app. It comes on every Apple phone. You want to do it? Well, go to Spotify. Yeah, Spotify.
And Google Play.
Spotify, YouTube, or Apple. This is what I need everybody in this room. You don't got a phone? You already following? Follow the podcast. It costs you nothing. It's free. So if you sat here and you enjoyed the episode or you ever listened to it, it's almost, you should feel responsible. You should feel the obligation to at least follow the podcast on the podcast app. Do you see it? Go to Social Proof Podcast. And at the top right, it says follow. Or on YouTube, David Ever Sleeps, hit subscribe. We really need that. Okay? Thank you so much. I do got to ask you, I'll ask you that after I do this commercial.
Do it.
Okay, cool. This episode is sponsored by The Morning Meetup, themorningmeetup.com, the only organization that gathers every single day to teach, coach, and have a network of entrepreneurs. We have literally 450 to 550 people on a Zoom call, every single morning live. And I be on that thing.
Oh, I love that one.
You going to be on, right?
Yeah, I'll come back, of course.
Okay, yeah. So you killed it the first time. We're going to have you back before the end of the year. I think before the end of the year, we need to have you on. Yes. We're going to have you on. Brand protection. Back on. So go to themorningmeetup.com. It is $1. I still got $1 trial. They just get to try it out for $1. If they like it, they can stay at $79 a month. If you don't like it, you just leave. It's all good. My feelings aren't hurt, but it's the most amazing community in the world. So go to themorningmeetup.com. Okay. Kendra, I got to ask you a question. For one, this was healthy for all of us.
Good.
I like to make predictions on the podcast.
Okay.
And I want to know where you see yourself in the next 5 years, so that I can watch this 5 years from today. And I could pull it up. And I say, Kendra said she was going to be doing this. She said she was going to be here 5 years ago. Look, she's here.
And that's a good one. I really want to think about this for a second because I do manifest a lot of what I want.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time. You got a second. Think through
5 years.
5 years. What do you see?
Man, I see brand protector managing and protecting a multi-billion-dollar portfolio.
You better talk about it. Talk about it.
Yeah, I want to see our.
You got all these multi-millionaires. It's now time to hit the multi-billionaires.
Yeah, we're in the millions. We manage them. Our portfolio is in the millions, but I want it to be in the billions, right?
For sure.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm impressed by our portfolio. Like,
I am
Everyone
too.
that's in it, I've legitimately believe that their brand can get there. Like we have Stephen Marley in there.
Who's that?
Stephen Marley. Marley.
The last name.
You just need to know Marley,
Just
David.
Marley.
Huh?
Bob Marley's son.
How am I supposed to know that?
All you need to hear was Marley.
Y'all saying it like it was Jay-Z.
The whole room.
Context clues would have said Marley.
Marley. Oh. He's a Marley.
That's like you saying
he's reggae royalty.
but that's like you said I'm protecting Larry Jordan.
No, don't do it.
And you don't know who Larry Jordan is?
No, don't do it, David. Don't do it.
Montel Jordan's son. He's like, what? No, Montel Jordan's son.
No.
I don't know.
There's only one Marley family. Come on right now.
There's some Marleys out there.
No, but when you think, if you know, Stephen Marley isn't just his son. He actually has his own career. He won Grammy Awards of his own, right? So he's not Michael Jordan's son. No offense. They didn't win championship rings. But
I was talking about Montel Jordan.
Oh.
See?
My mom went to his church. The other day. She went to his church in Florida. Nice. Yeah, I like him. This is how we do it. But
you know what's so funny? And it's not funny. This was like years ago. We were at a church and he performed This Is How We Do It.
Church version?
It was the song.
He did the Friday night or he said Sunday morning?
No, Friday. The whole... I mean, he didn't cuss, but...
Does he cuss in the original? I don't remember him cussing. No, he was a clean rapper. Don't let's do it. Yeah. I'm faded.
Anyway, he wasn't faded in church. I mean, you might have said something like, I'm elated or something.
I'm praying.
But anyway, I don't know how we started talking about Montel Jordan. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So when you hear someone say Stephen Marley, I hope you remember next time.
Gotcha, okay. And that's your client.
Yeah,
okay.
we work for him.
David Shands.
David Shands is my client. Him 500, Pretty Ricky. We have T.S. Madison. We have Sean King, the civil rights activist.
Really? That's what?
Yes.
You out here.
No, you know what? Can I just tell you, I actually had a fangirl moment for myself. I actually called my friend and I was like, yo.
I'm about to be on David Shands' podcast. And then y'all was like,
that too. Yes, that too. But I was like, I just got a retainer. It said Sean King on it. And we're like, is it really Sean King? We're like, yeah, it's Sean King. Sean King. We're like, yeah.
That's dope.
Then we had a moment with that. Stephen Marley was the same way. Long time ago, I said, hey, I want to work with a Marley. And then connections led to that. And I was like, oh my God. I called my friend again. I'm like, yo, his name is on my paperwork right now.
That's dope.
So I have those moments. You know, I'm never to the point where I don't get excited. Yes, I'm excited. David Shands is my client. Not only that, but David was like, you know what? I want to invest in my brand and I'm going to do a monthly retainer. And that to me, when clients go that route, because we work with you, you know, we're not just working for you. We work with you as in-house counsel, but we're not, in your business, because a lot of entrepreneurs and creators, the thing is they have all this amazingness, but they have no legal connections, no nothing. So even if it's not an area that I personally do, we do bring in other people. We have the patent attorneys. We have people that will enforce contracts. We have all these different elements. So that's why Brand Protector wasn't developed as a law firm. We're actually developed that as a brand protection agency so that we could bring in multiple people to get the job done.
I love it. Well, look, man, I think you are going to just continue to keep growing. All right. Yes. And I'm really, really excited. So I want you to let us know how we can get in touch with you. And you got to close this out with a word of wisdom, something real strong. Okay. Put a bow on this whole conversation.
You left off our gift for them.
What was the gift?
They got to get the checklist because we didn't get through all the steps.
Oh, the check. Oh, yeah. Because, we ran out of time. Yeah, because this is long. Okay. How can they get the checklist?
So
and what's on the checklist?
We're all the 10 steps. So we only cover the few. All the 10 steps to protecting their brand. Okay. So they can go to brandprotector.com and we have a special social proof link.
Hey.
Push that social proof on the end.
Lit.
Right? And
so brandprotector.com/social proof? Okay, cool.
And there you can
write that down, Joe, just so make sure you got that in the show notes. Because this is such, I joke a lot, but this is such a important conversation because we just don't protect ourselves. We just we just got a hustler mentality where we're just trying to go make some money.
Mm-hmm.
But like the big money is in ownership. And a lot of people, they got a brand. You say you own the brand, but you don't really own the brand.
Ownership. You know, back in the day, the money, the wealth that they created that we see now was created in oil and different things like that. Mm-hmm. A lot of them now, look at Zuckerberg, look at what are they doing? Intellectual property. Right? And Facts. and it's so much easier for you to create intellectual property than it is for you to buy a house.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? A lot of us are going to be in that position where, you know, the housing market is kind of crazy right now. Yeah. But you know what's available and there's no limitation on? Intellectual property, right. Creating all these catchphrases, these hashtags, every single thing you're creating. And you can protect that and put that in a portfolio. The photos in your phone, the videos you're recording. You know, you look through old time pictures. You're like, who took this? Right. They might not be collecting their money, but you know, in 20 or 30 years from now, who knows what's going to happen with what we got stored in the cloud. And Facts. If it comes out, you might as well get paid for it. Facts. Right? Facts. Get your stuff protected. I'm here for it. I don't want you to be scared. I want you to think about the money behind it because y'all leaving money on the floor.
It's opportunity. And it's brandprotector.com/social proof. Brandprotector.com/social proof. And they get it for how much?
The checklist is free.
That's
it's
dope.
my gift because you're amazing, David.
I love you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I try. I try to keep up with David Chan.
She got y'all back. So look, make sure y'all go to brandprotector.com/social proof. Kendra, please let them know how to follow you.
Okay.
And then close us out with a word.
Ooh, you can follow me at Kendra Stephen on Instagram. That's usually where I do my jam. And brandprotector.com is our website, right? And my word for today.
Give us a word.
Man.
Give us a little baby
momentum.
Seven. Okay.
Momentum. Use the momentum that you got this information for today to actually take action and do something with it.
There it is. Listen, we can't close it out no better than that, man. Do yourself a favor. 1, go follow Kendra. 2, hire Kendra. I'm not telling you to do anything that I didn't do myself, okay? So make sure you rock with Kendra Stephen, okay? She is definitely giving, just giving me the confidence to like walk, knowing that I'm going to do something, I'm protected, ain't nobody going to steal it, ain't nobody going to take it. It's a very important, invest in your brand, okay? Yes. And go get yourself some social proof, okay? Meaning I want you to go build something. But after you build it, I want you to come back to your community and teach them how you did it. All right, we are out of here. Peace.